Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to talk about nested if-else structure. Let's jump into the code. So here I will start with a clean program. So if we have an if condition with two expressions, expression 1 and, for example, expression 2. We learned from the previous video that both expression 1 and 2 has to be true, so this is if condition is true and the body of the if statement will be executed. This will be executed if exp1 and exp2 are true. And then I can have an else in if condition, and here if x exp 1 and exp 3 are true. So another statement. And inside the body of this, so this will be executed if x, let me put them inside parentheses so you would understand better, exp, expression 1 and expression 2 is false. And expression 1 and expression 3, let me put these two into parentheses so it will make sense. Is true. So basically by this sentence I mean if the first condition, which is expression 1 and expression 2, is false, and the second condition, which is expression 1 and expression 3, is true, then this part of the code will be executed. This line 11 will be executed. Let's put another else if and say if expression 1 and expression 4 are true. This will be executed if x1 and x2 is false, if expression 1 and expression 3 is also false, and expression 1 and expression 4 returns true. So this body of the code, line 15, will be executed if this condition is false, this condition is also false, and this condition is true. Let's experiment with it. I'll introduce 4 variables that we have here. Expression 1 is an integer because we know that expression 1 is either false or true, so it could be either 0 or 1. expression 2, expression 3, expression 4, and now expression 1 is equal to 1, which means expression 1 is true. Expression 2 is also true. Expression 3 is also true. Expression 4 is also true. Inside each if condition, I'll add a printf statement. I say this to say the return of expression 1 and expression 2 is true. I'll add the same thing for the second and third if condition as well. So here, if expression 1 and expression 3 is true, we will return true. And here, if expression 1 and expression 4 is true, it will return true. So now I'll go to debug, start debugging, and the computer will debug my code until line 11. So let's see what's happening here. Expression 1, expression 2, expression 3, and 4 all are 1, which means all 4 of them are true. Okay, so if I jump over this line, what will happen? Pause the video, look at the code, and let me know and let us know what you think. So if I jump over, it will go to the body of the first if condition. And the reason is that the statement expression 1 and expression 2 is true because expression 1 is true, expression 2 is true, so expression 1 and expression 2 will also be true. And I can continue the code, and you see, the code will finish when none of the other if conditions will be executed. And you can see the return of expression 1 and expression 2 is true. Let's close this. Let's add some slash in here. Just want to make it cleaner to go to the next line. Okay. So now if you look at these, if I change the expression 2 to 0, what will happen? Also, you might ask the question that all 4 conditions were true. Why the other 2 if conditions weren't executed? Let me debug the code again. So we debug the code, we stop at line 11. Let me step over one by one now. I'll step over, it will go to the body of the if condition because the condition was true. And then if I click on it another time, we'll go to the end of the curly brackets. And then we'll go to the return 0, because when you have an if condition, an if structure, when the first one is true, all the other if conditions in your nested structure will be ignored. Okay, so if I change the expression 2, let me stop debugging here. If I change the expression 2 to 0, which is false, now I'll start debugging the code. We're just pressing F5 or click on debug. Now here we stopped at line 11. Be careful that line 11 hasn't been executed yet. If I click step over, we'll be jumped to line 16 because expression 1 was true, expression 2 was false. Expression 1 and expression 2 will return false. This time, we'll go to the next else if statement. In the next else if statement, it's asking for expression 1 and expression 3. Expression 1 and expression 3 are true. So expression 1 and expression 3, the statement, the expression, that one is also true. So we will go into the body of this else if statement. If I click step over, you see that it will jump to line number 19. And the statement, the return of expression 1 and expression 3 is true, will be printed out. If I continue the code and open the console window for you, you will see that the return of expression 1 and expression 3 is true is printed, which is exactly what we want. So this debugging allows us to investigate our code line by line. Not only we will learn C programming better, it will help us to catch a problem, Okay, let me stop debugging here and change expression 3 to 0. Now, the first statement is false because expression 2 is false. The second statement is false because expression 3 is false. And the fourth expression is true because both expression 1 and 4 are true. Let's start debugging this code. Okay, you would see when I click on jump, it will automatically jump to line 13, but in line 13, the expression is also false, so we'll be jumped to line 21. In line 21, the expression is correct, so we'll go inside the curly bracket. Inside the curly bracket, there's a print statement, and if I go to the next line, that print statement will be printed on this screen, and as you can see, it is printed on this screen. But there is another way that we could have written this if condition. Let me close the debugging window. So this is the same as if I say, if expression 1, then when we went inside the if condition, I'll add another if, a nested if. Now I'm checking on expression 2. So this has the same meaning as what we had before. First, we're checking expression 1 if expression 1 is true or not, and then we're checking expression 2. And let's move these two lines here so it will have a meaning. And now, if you look at this line, if you look at line 19, you would see that I'm asking if expression 1 is true and expression 3 is true. But I already checked expression 1. So if expression 1 is true, I'm already inside this. So why not, instead of line 19 to line 23, write this code? Watch me. Else expression 3, and then in the else if expression 3, and in the body, I will copy and paste here. So if you remember our previous code, we were checking for expression 1 and expression 2, then expression 1 and expression 3. Now I checked expression 1 because in all three conditions we had before, in all three of them, expression 1 had to be true. So why not first check expression 1 if expression 1 is true, and then when we go inside the curly brackets of expression 1, now we're checking against expression 2, expression 3, and expression 4. This will make it much easier for this type of example. And then another else if on the nested structure. Expression 4, and inside the curly brackets, I'll print the same statement. Let's actually copy that because it's actually the same statement. And I don't need these anymore because I already taken care of that. So this code is equivalent to the code we had before. Both of them will return the same result. These two if conditions will return the same result. The only difference is the first if-else structure was a plain structure, and the second one is nested. What do I mean by nested? It means that we have a whole if-else structure inside another if-else structure. So the first if-else structure we have is if expression 1. We're checking if expression 1 is true or not. And then inside that, we're checking against expression 2, expression 3, and expression 4. So I'll go to the debug menu, start debugging, or press at F5. Now we're at line 11. All the expressions has been written. Expression 1 is true, expression 2 is false, 3 is false, and 4 is true as well. I'll step over. So you see, because expression 1 was true, we are going to the body of this function. In the previous if-else condition, if expression 1 was false, we're still going to check 2 more conditions which are redundant and we don't need to do them. Here, we will check expression 2. Expression 2 is false, so if I jump over this line, we'll go to the next expression, which is expression 3, and expression 3 is false again, and we'll jump to expression 4, but because expression 4 is correct, we'll go inside the curly brackets, we'll print whatever is inside the curly brackets, and the code is done right after that. And if you look at the console window, you see that the return of expression 1 and expression 4 is true is printed on the console window. So this concludes our video regarding nested if and else structure. What we learned is we can have an if and else structure working, but sometimes it might be a better way and more optimized way to write it as a nested if condition. Here, if expression 1 is false, we're not going to check expression 1 against expression 3 and expression 1 against expression 4. And a nested if statement will be more optimized in this case. Thank you for watching this video and have a great day. See you in the next lecture.